Chapter 2. The situation got worse, howling and screaming all over the place, along with the frantic emergency evacuation orders. The mist burns, which had multiplied in an instant, continued to create new victims. If this goes on, we'll end up like them. Professor Lim screamed in panic. Mistburn is a monster he couldn't catch with the level he has. Of all things, Mistburn was the one that stimulated his most painful trauma. Huh? Professor, where are you going? Soho was shocked. The only hunter here right now, Professor Lim, is running away. Professor Lim, who barely escaped Mistburn's attack, exits the exhibit hall alone. Should I follow him? Soho, who had been thinking for a while, soon moved his body, but towards the direction opposite to where Professor Lim ran off to. Soho ran to the corner of the hall and picked up the fire extinguisher. I don't know if this will work, but he couldn't bear to run away and leave the others. Holding a fire extinguisher, Soho ran to the place where the mist burns were gathered. Swoosh! White powder spurted out and covered the mist burns. Of course, since it's an attack that doesn't contain magical power, there won't be any significant damage. However, it was enough to temporarily suppress their firepower. This will do for now. After confirming that the fire extinguisher was fortunately working, Soho continued to move the tip of the fire extinguisher and sprayed other mist burns as well. Swoosh! Whack! He looked around. Soho found his fallen friend and helped him. Are you okay? Acknowledgement. His friend's face was covered with tears and a runny nose. Hey, get back to your senses. Soho shook his body, but he remained unfazed. Slap, slap. He was forced to come to his senses by a slap. Soho, his friend's eyes barely got focused. Soho looked down. Did he get sprained? Let's get out of here first. Soho lifted up his friend and carried him. Thanks to the fire extinguisher, the attacks of the mist burns temporarily weakened. There's no other way to escape from here. Acknowledgement. Where's the professor? The student asked Soho. All art students knew that Professor Lim is a hunter. But, in such a situation, no one knows where he is. He asked for assistance from the Hunters Association earlier though. Soho thinks it's not necessary to mention that the professor escaped alone after that. He could be scared. At Soho's words, a sigh of relief escaped from his friend's mouth. They got out of the exhibit hall. But things didn't stop there. Rather, it's a lot messier outside. Roar. Grrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrr museum was filled with mist bairns. Proliferative monsters. They're really terrible. He thought he would just have to get out of the exhibit hall. Help. When are the hunters coming? People were all over the place trembling. The Korean National University Art Museum building has a clear passage. Both the stairs and elevators. But mist burns are buzzing all over. At this rate, mankind could be at risk. Soho quickly assessed the situation. All retreat routes are blocked, and the number of monsters is increasing. The situation will only get worse if they turn into monsters by recklessly jumping out of the window or running around. Maybe things will get better if I can give them means to protect themselves. Soho raised the fire extinguisher he brought and shouted, "Everyone, listen up." Some of the frightened people looked at Soho. There's a way to deal with those. More people then turned their heads his way. They looked at the fire extinguisher in Soho's hand. I see. That's right. Fire extinguishers. We can kill the monsters. The light returned to the eyes of the helpless. Soho felt quite embarrassed. It couldn't kill the monsters though. Well, does it matter? It gave people hope. That is what's important. People scattered and frantically searched for fire extinguishers. Here, I found one. I found one. 2. The people who found fire extinguishers cheered. At the same time, those who could not find a fire extinguisher became contemplative. There was no way there could be that many fire extinguishers on one floor in the first place. But that was enough. Soho shouted, "Not everyone needs a fire extinguisher. Those with fire extinguishers, please follow me." What? Disappointment flashed on the faces of the people holding the fire extinguishers. They realized that only those who hold fire extinguishers will take the front line of the battle. Soho took the lead and aimed the fire extinguisher at mist bairns. Swoosh. From now on, Action will speak louder than words. Mistburn's firepower has noticeably weakened. The complexion of the people who saw that brightened. Amazing. Great. I'll do that, too. Swoosh. They started spraying their fire extinguishers as they gained confidence. Nice. Let's keep moving this way. Soho kept the lead and continued attacking forward. Meanwhile, people followed Soho and moved through the gaps and down the stairs. Kaiwa. The problem is, there were also Mistburns attacking from behind. At the back, the people who were barely stable fell into panic again. Rush. People ran down the stairs in fear. Soho gritted his teeth. We were almost there. If this continues, they might all collapse down the stairs. Soho put down his friend and asked him, "You can go alone from now on, right? Huh? What will you do?" The friend looked at Soho with a confused face. Soho shouted at the people holding fire extinguishers with a firm look on his face. "I'll take care of the back, so those at the front can clear the way." "All right." Soho eventually turned around and climbed the stairs again. "I don't know what I'm doing." A person who wasn't awakened began acting like a hunter. But there's nothing he can do otherwise. His body moved ahead. Swoosh. Soho's fire extinguisher attacked the Mistburns coming from behind. But then, seriously? The white powder that had been spouting vigorously suddenly stopped. Right then, the helplessly pushed Mistburn, and Soho's eyes met awkwardly. Soho sneered miserably. "I'm doomed." Grrrr. The Mistburn came towards Soho. Whiff. The blue smoke engulfed him. He was also about to become a new Mistburn. But, right then, swish. At that moment, he came face to face with the Mistburn, and fell gradually deep into the abyss as he lost consciousness. Born from remnants of mana, Mistburn was a feeble creature that only moved by instinct. It was also a troublesome monster that could become stronger as long as it had enough to consume and endlessly increase its alter ego. Which is best for them to consume? Just simply, living things. Among them, humans with abundant vitality were good prey that could burn well like dry firewood. In that sense, Soho was the perfect prey for Mistburn. However, swish, the moment it engulfed Soho's body, the Mistburn fell into a pitch-black abyss hidden within Soho. The bewildered Mistburn looked around. No matter where it looked, there was no end to the abyss. But, in the deepest part of the abyss, someone was watching. Mistburn growled ferociously, standing still with the blue smoke. No matter how much it growls, all that comes back is an empty echo. The Mistburn then realized it was not someone, rather, it was the entire abyss looking down on him. It's like drooling over a piece of prey. The abyss opened its mouth wide at the Mistburn, which was startled, and tried to run away. Gulp. Swoosh. Soho flashed a puzzled expression. The Mistburn that had been attacking him suddenly, crackle. The human body, which had been the wick, also collapsed on the spot as ashes. Right then, you got rid of the Mistburn. Secret quest. Courage of the helpless has been accomplished. What? Soho's eyes widened at the message that suddenly appeared in front of him. Your level increased. Sparkle. A brilliant light enveloped Soho's entire body. Soho's friend, Kim Daehyun, managed to escape outside the museum. Slump. As soon as his limping foot touched the ground outside, he lost strength. Sitting helplessly in front of the art museum, Daehyun's gaze instinctively searched for Soho. What about Soho? Have you seen him? Who is that? That guy. The people remember the student who took the lead and fought with a fire extinguisher. However, Soho was nowhere to be seen. Someone hesitantly opened his mouth. That person went back to attack from behind. No way. He hasn't come out yet. Everyone began mumbling. Someone spoke in a hopeful voice. He's a hunter, so wouldn't he be fine? Soho is not a hunter. Daehyun screamed. That fact was even more shocking. What? He's not a hunter? He is not one, but how did he? Their gazes simultaneously turned to the art museum. Soho wasn't able to get out yet. The hunters arrived just in time after receiving the report. In here, Professor Lim, who ran away first, brought the hunters. He let out a sigh of relief when he saw the people who had escaped the museum safely. Such a relief. I guess everyone got out somehow. As an E-class hunter, he convinced himself that he had chosen the best way, but when he saw the people, He felt guilty for being cowardly. By the way, how did you manage to escape? Professor Lim and the hunters looked at the crowd with puzzled expressions. Mistburn attacked such an isolated place, yet a lot were able to survive. As fortunate as it was, they couldn't help but be curious about what had happened. More than that, there is still someone left in there. Daehyun shouted desperately. Soho is still. Soho is still inside? Assistant Professor Lim was taken aback and turned his gaze to the museum. If it wasn't for Soho, we would all be dead. The faces of all the survivors turned gloomy at Daehyun's depressing words. Is that person a hunter? What class? He's a civilian. What? How could a normal person do that? Hunters were ready to throw more questions. Rumble. An ominous roar came from the museum building. Everyone turned their heads toward the sound. Hazy magical power began flowing out of the building. Oh, dear. Is disintegration going to start?